Hey everyone, it's Andy. I am getting my art stream started. Oh, just need to make sure everything's going before I switch to art. And this time I'm actually going to switch to the art. Alright, let's make sure. Okay, that's a little loud still, so go ahead and drop the volume just a bit. Okay, that's not too bad. Alrighty, so this is the third of my, what I thought were going to be two art streams, and turns out that I needed more time to uh, fix up the line art, which is not bad. I just was surprised. And then, now I'm doing coloring. So, as before, I'll be doing working on 4 different pictures during the stream. Excuse me. I'll be doing 4 different pictures during the stream. The, uh, the first one will be, Luna from... Yeah, I'm just a little tired, so please bear with me if I'm a little bit, stopping for periodically. I just had a long day, we'll say. But anyway, so the first one will be Luna from Sailor Moon. Second one will be Straw Beaver, who is Masayune Berry. Third one will be Calahoo. Joshi by Calahoo. And the fourth will be Yuki Tora by Yuki Tora. I mean, the characters are from, the last three are actually original characters. Luna's just a, shouldn't say just, but Luna is a is the character from is the Luna the cat from Sailor Moon. So, without further ado, Luna's actually going to probably be the easiest of these. I'll probably do some shading, but shading is going to be last, and I may have to do that in another art stream. But we'll have to see. I'm not going to jinx myself though. But fortunately, Luna is a pretty straightforward. She is a black cat. So aside from a few hints of color here and there, she's actually pretty relatively simple, we'll say. So I don't need to zoom in too much, but I do want to make sure to be in close enough so I'm not accidentally coloring over the lines. Now, what I'll do this later, but what I had just figured out worked last time was to draw the to use the line art to. This is one of the reasons I trimmed down the line art, because once I'm done with it, once I'm done filling in the basic colors, I will be actually hiding the first layer and then adding in the borders on the second layer. Notice that it made it look a lot better. Okay, I think that's... Honestly, it's still too dark. Doesn't need... It can be pretty dark, but... Yeah, that works. I just wanted to make sure it was distinguishable from the from the actual black outlines. So, yeah, Luna is pretty much just a matter of filling the color, except for like certain parts of her, like the eyes, mouth, ear, and the crescent moon on her forehead. It's basically just very straightforward. You know, thinking about it, I might actually be able to use the actual the first layer's line art this time. I cleaned it up really well, and it looks a lot neater than the one I did for Hollow Knight. I mean, the Hollow Knight. So, I probably will have to fill this in a little more later on, and that's one of the reasons I am probably going to go ahead and make sure to do redraw the borders, so that it's sometimes a little hard to see exactly where the white spots are. This is better than I thought it was. This works pretty well, I think. I mean, hi Ninian, thanks for dropping by. Yes, I like carrots, thank you. I'd be surprised considering that I'm a cat, but I actually do like carrots. And bread. It's highly amusing to me that... But, even real cats like to eat plants sometimes. It's one of the reasons you will sometimes see your cats chewing on a plant, because they need I think it's usually just the fiber, but whatever it is, they need it. But yeah, so yes, I will definitely enjoy that carrot. Thank you very much. Just so long as it's not one of Arena's carrot bombs. I prefer not to... I like stuff that has a flavor explosion in my mouth, but not literal ones. But yeah, how are you doing today, Ninian? Alright. Because I had a busy day at work. Lots of stuff going on. Yeah, I know, it's a little hard to imagine a cat working, but I gotta pay for the cat food somehow. I'm gonna zoom in a bit more here. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope this helps a little. Just watching me listening to the music and hearing me natter about my art or cats or bunnies. It's funny, but I actually really like bunnies. I mean, not just the very cute bunny and Rabbit Ribby, but just rabbits in general look really nice. And they're so fluffy, and I love their ears. They're so, the ears are, honestly, it's hard to imagine them dealing well with the ears, but they seem to do well enough. I mean, I would think, I don't know, but I would think they'd get in the way. But on the other hand, they're not as long as I think they're not super long, and the bunnies have good control over them, so I think that helps out a lot. I just don't, I guess I should say I don't quite understand the point of the super long ears. I mean, cats, we have fairly big ears, but they're much wider than they are long. So, yep. Luna is a pretty straightforward drawing, very much, since she is a black cat. I adore black cats, actually. They're almost always super friendly, or at least that's been my experience. They're friendly and nice, and just in general, really great for being around people. Ah, that makes sense. So, I wouldn't be surprised if it sounds, because they're so much longer. And they can stick them straight up, like, almost like a radar thing. Not radar, but, so it can pick up higher stuff, substantially higher stuff than like physically higher than their actual, than say a cat, without having to raise their heads. So that makes sense. At least assuming I'm right. But either way, they are extremely cute. Oh, okay. That I honestly would have thought would have been the sounds. That I guess I didn't realize that you could have that. The thermal regulation thing. That's actually really interesting. That because you know, you don't see that. You don't use. I shouldn't say you don't see that, because now that I'm thinking about it, there's quite a few animals that have long ears that probably do it the same way. Because the head probably generate, you know, even in a smaller animal, the head would generate quite a bit of heat, because you know that's where the brain is. So having the wide open space, yeah, I know servals are actually I love servals. I also love serval. She is an adorable neck kimono friend. Neko kimono friend. I'm not sure if that's the term. Neko is definitely the correct one. Oh yes, all orange cats sometimes are a little bit wild and excitable. You saw me yesterday when I was breaching in Subnautica, but in general are just really, really nice. Maybe not quite as loving as black kitties, but still really, really good. And Luna is kind of sort of an exception to the friendliness of black cats that I've seen. Because she tends to nag Usagi nonstop. Although that's in part because Usagi's got a mission. And Luna is bound and determined to see it, make sure that it's completed successfully. I'm honestly was just a little surprised at Sailor Moon that they didn't, because the whole her name actually means bunny. So I'm honestly just a little bit surprised that she doesn't have a longer eared motif unless it's the super long twin tails. Still, I mean the Sailor Senshi um, aren't really based on animals, so that may be part of the reason why. Gonna increase the size. A lot of this is just filling in, so I can just color around the border and then tighten up once I get a little bit closer. This could take a little while otherwise. I'm not gonna rush, but I've got like 4 pictures to do. And I figure it'll be better if I focus on getting the if I don't worry too much about trying to do it perfect and just focus on getting the rough details filled in and then do the finicky detail work rather than doing the finicky detail work which I tend to do, like when I was drawing the black in before. Yeah, I think I picked this color pretty well. Luna, despite the fact that she looks like a black cat, she's actually just a super dark gray, I think. I mean, nearly black. Of course, some of it could be just that way you can actually see her outline, because she is an animated character. But yeah, I love black. I love kitties in general. Black and orange kitties are my favorites. Orange kitties are for obvious reasons, but I've had several orange cats over the time that I've been human, and they have been sometimes a little wild, but just in general very nice and sweet. On their own terms, of course. That's just a cat thing, though, so I don't see it needing to be mentioned too much. Fill. Yeah, I needed to do this. It was very busy today, and didn't really have much backup. So it was honestly a little stressful. Hi, Socio. Thanks for stopping by. I'm doing good. A little tired from the whole earning the money for the cat food thing, but overall I'm doing pretty good. Appreciate you hopping in. I am doing my 3-month art stream, so it's a streaming anniversary basically. I've been streaming for at this point a little over 3 months, and I decided I'd give back a little bit to people who have been just in general, people who've been following me, people who haven't been following me, just giving back a little to the to everyone else, and instead of what I had been doing, which is just picking a character from a game I played and drawing other people's characters, or other characters, like other pictures that people liked. Because the first person to pick, who preferred to remain anonymous, really liked Sailor Moon, so I drew the. So they asked me to draw Luna. So I am finishing up the. Shouldn't say finishing up. I'm working on the coloration now. Because it's even though Luna is mostly black, it's still a good idea to. She still needs all that color, otherwise she's just an outline. There we go. Oh, that's neat. What are you drawing, if you don't mind my asking? So yeah, this is a Luna's got a very and I didn't realize it when I was watching the Sailor Moon anime, but she's actually got one of the things that makes her so memorable is, well, she's got just a really simple look. Ah, okay, I bet you they'll like that, Socio. Is it a surprise drawing? Fill. hope that they enjoy the surprise. Because surprise gifts are always fun. I've pulled off a few surprise gifts. It's sometimes a bit challenging to pick the thing, but if you can pick something that they really want, the reaction is absolutely worth it. In general, though, I recommend being careful to make sure that it's something that they actually want, though. Though I'm sure once you've known somebody for more than a little while, it's usually not too difficult to guess what they want, figure out what they want. So yeah, I really hope that they enjoy what you're making for them. I would ask you what you're drawing, but we want to keep it a surprise, so um, I will just end it wishing you luck unless you want to talk about it. Probably have to erase a little, but I'm trying. I have a tendency, unfortunately, to not so much scribble, but try to draw like lots of short, quick strokes. So I just realized it, and now I'm trying to draw long, thick strokes to help overcome that tendency. Because if I just keep reacting by habit, I won't get a whole lot better. I always do that later when I'm filling in, or otherwise just when I'm filling in the holes, basically. Too much. Alright. Should be most of it, except for actually filling in the little bits of detail here and there. Yeah. It's not as quick, but this is actually, I think, a slightly better method for drawing. Once I can get the control I need. Okay. So, I think, yep, that looks like it's, aside from the little bit of filling that I need to do, which I will go ahead and take care of now. Should be pretty much all the black. Fill. fill. This is the hard part because I want to keep the actual borderline there intact. And it's a little challenging to do that, unfortunately. Because I gotta be really careful here, otherwise I'll go right over it and then have to guess. Right. Okay, that will work for now. Fill. Yep. Filling always takes a long time. It's something you gotta be careful of because it's really easy to unfortunately just get overexcited and accidentally fill in too much somewhere. Like color over a line if I'm not watching exactly what I'm doing. I think I'll get a drink really fast. Right. I should see if there's a quicker way to do this, because this is taking longer than I expected. It's not bad or anything, it's just I'm still relatively a novice at art. So I'm sure there's techniques that I've never heard of that make this not so much a lot easier, but make it easier enough. Although I'm also sure that most of this is just going to come from regular practice, which is why I'm glad that I'm doing these art streams. Great. Go ahead and scroll down to get the featses. I love this tablet, it's really nice. This would have been much more difficult on something like, say, my old 3DS, which certainly worked for drawing, but I only had 2 levels of zoom and minimal control over where the scroll went. So it was way tougher to get around the whole business. Sorry, to get around the picture. I either had the full zoom, which basically showed the whole picture, or a like 50% zoom, which zoomed in, made it roughly twice as large, I think. And to be honest, it was really hard to do art that way. thankfully I have a real tablet now. Makes it quite a bit easier. To draw in a effective way. Like as an example, uh, this kind of finicky, I shouldn't say finicky, but this kind of careful drawing that I'm doing would have been much more challenging on something like 3DS, leaving aside the small screen, because there weren't that many, you had minimal adjustability on the actual tools. Plus, the 3DS stylus is pretty good for what it does, but it just is not a art stylus, and you can tell. It's more designed as a play game stylus. Although I got lucky and got a it's from that one of the Theater Rhythm games, Final Fantasy, I think. One of the Theater Rhythm Final Fantasy games. Basically, it was a stylus that's about as long as an actual pen, so it actually gave me something to grab. The regular 3DS stylus is tiny. I mean, about half that length. And while I could certainly do stuff with it, it was a bit of a challenge. Certainly would have been fun trying to do art that way. Right? So, getting close to done, then I can start on the minor colors, which won't take very long, thankfully. So, sometimes a bit hard to figure out what to say when I'm in the process of drawing, because I want to talk about the drawing, but there's only so many times I can come up with a clever way to use the word brush or fill. And I don't have that much actual knowledge of art history or art techniques, so I can talk about the way I think of stuff, but it's much harder to just provide trivia or the equivalent. Okay, I think this side's about done. Alright. Yep, just a little more. But yeah, let's see, Sailor Moon. I don't know why, I always liked the idea of Champions of Justice. That, the sailor suited Champions of Justice. That idea just always appealed to me. Even if the original dubs, the ones that I watched when they were first released, the ones by Deke, were just plain bad. I wish I were kidding, but let's just say, they did the editing, you know, the editing jobs they did were, in a lot of cases, almost like rewriting the whole anime. It still was moving, it still was touching, it still was eventful, but it just wasn't. Okay. Thankfully, the rest of it's just a matter of relatively light colors. So let's go ahead and start. There. I'm just going to stick with the same brush tip because this is a relatively small area. I thought it was interesting, and I'm honestly not quite sure why it worked this way. But Luna couldn't actually talk until after she was, after the. She couldn't really talk until after the actual, the band-aid on her crescent moon was taken off. I never really understood that, to be honest. Also, something I just noticed on this picture, her pupils are, her pupils are actually white, not black. It's interesting, because usually, I mean, technically they're cat-slitted, so it makes sense, but I did forget something. I'll fix it later. Nothing big, it's just, those are more ovals because of she's a cat. Alright. Can I fix that up later? I'm just erase a little. There, that works. Back to drawing. Just filling in the colors on her irises and shrinking her actual. There we go, that works. Okay, and the last color should be a pink for the insides of her ears and mouth and nose. Oops. Hit undo one too many times. I think this is a good color. But yeah, I actually didn't like. So getting back to the original Sailor Moon anime, I didn't really like the Deke version very much. It wasn't horrible, but between the editing and the fact that it followed the original anime format, which was, I won't say it pioneered Monster of the Week, but it certainly used it. It just didn't have quite the same level of impact that the original manga did, which I have had the fortune of reading. Good fortune of reading. Filling in her nose and her mouth. Oh, hold on. Something popped up. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to zoom back out, and yep, there is Luna in my own style. I've made some additional modifications, but I like how it looks so far. So let me go ahead and save it. And then we'll move on to the next character, Straw Beaver. So I probably won't be able to do more than just basic coloring tonight, because unfortunately I do have to be out for work tomorrow. Alright, so Straw Beaver has a nice and relatively easy to follow color theme. Because he is, after all, modeled after a strawberry. Actually, that's too... I think... I hope that's not too green. I'll find out. Yeah, nice green. I basically decided, since strawberries have that stem that covers the base of the top of the strawberry, I decided I'd use that as his hair, or the equivalent anyway. It's on. I just noticed something. It's not a big deal, but I suspect it's just a minor mistake I didn't see. I'll be covering it up though, so it's not a big deal at all. That dark, thick line here that's right below the, right above the right eyebrow. Hardly a big deal. I just noticed it and was like, why is it still there? I can't. Got a cat deciding he wants to try to get in my lap. So he's perched hopefully near my chair. Figure as long as he's my older cat, so I don't always let him up in my lap. But I figure this time he'll he's usually pretty good about not being a pest once he's actually in my lap. Because you know how cats are, they get on the lap and then they start trying to play with the keyboard. So, probably darken this later on, but for now, having it a lighter green is not bad. Cat is trying to find a comfortable place in my lap and not succeeding very well because of the way I'm sitting. So I'll give him a slightly comfortable place, so he's not constantly pacing around in my lap trying to make himself comfortable. But yeah, that's my cat Sam. This is my cat Sam. He's almost entirely white except for he has a black tail and one black ear. And he is a very friendly, lovey cat. Likes to basically constantly try to get me to pay attention to him, and usually succeeds. Right, that is the stem. Now the next part. Let's see, I was going to do this 2 or 3 different shades of the pinkish purple. Yeah, I need that a lot lighter. Basically, one color for his head, one color for his actually that's still there. That's still too pink. There, I think that'll work. Sometimes it's a little hard. Oh, okay, thanks for stopping by, says Ocio. I appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed watching. I'm still learning art, but art streams are actually pretty interesting to watch. Well, at least to just sort of have in the background and pay attention to every now and then. But anyway, thank you very much for coming. Appreciate it as always. Just gonna stretch a little. Alright, so. Yeah, that's definitely much too pink for an actual human, but Straw Beaver is still a strawberry, so I figure I can always even this out some, but this gives it a nice, somewhat nice, pinkish strawberry sheen. Yeah, I'll definitely want to change this color. It's a bit still too brighter. It's still slightly off shade, and it's sometimes hard for me to gauge colors properly. Let's see, his eyes are white in the model picture. Do I want to leave them white? My cat decided he wanted off my lap, so there you go, Sam. Enjoy. You know how it is with a cat. You let them up, they sit there for a little while, they wander off because you can't give them your undivided attention. Sorry, Sam, I'm just streaming. I think we can increase that size a little. Yeah, so this is definitely not quite the shade I wanted, but I will blend it with a slightly different one to give it a better texture later, because I'm pretty sure this is gonna to get these properly blended, except for Luna, who's I want her to blend her picture too, but she's definitely doesn't need it as badly as the other ones because of how much of her is solid black or near solid black, charcoal gray maybe. Okay. Yep, just about done with the, well, not all of it. There's still some skin color, like with where, still some other skin color, but I'm gonna be going on with the shirt soon. Alright. Although, I think I will go ahead and get the hands a little. Alright. Fortunately, this part's not different. Some of this is pretty easy comparatively. There. We'll go over to the other side and finish that off too. Go. Alright, now we do the shirt color. Then, shirt color can be a darker pink. Because we still want him to look like a strawberry. Yep, I'm almost thinking I should have just waited on the strawberry seeds. They would have taken less time to draw them in second. Something to remember for the future if I've got decorations like this. Well, they still work either way, but yeah, I think even though they look nice, I'm going to draw over them and just draw in new ones with the with a slightly lighter, not a white, and it won't be the gray. Just I'm concerned that this is going to take trying to go over that with all that, go over all the strawberry seeds like that is going to take it a lot longer, and it would have been much easier to draw them in as a separate layer or something like that. There we go. Oh, there we go. Every once in a while, my tablet stops responding for a moment. Not a big deal, just it's a brief moment, thankfully. It doesn't seem to be computer lag, which I occasionally have to deal with. There. So edging, edging, edging. Ah, yay, another one of the ones who, the so-called big followers. I wonder how many of these people posting are actually people who fell for that. It's like, no, I do not want your, no, I do not want big follows. Stop trying to get me to give you my login details so you can go and beg other people. I don't know if that's actually what they do, but it's pretty common when it comes to that sort of spammer. It's just unfortunately the same thing like with video games. People who fall for those tricks are usually the ones who end up doing the additional stuff later on. It's like, nope, not interested, not falling for it. This cat does not need big follows. There we go. Yeah, I don't know very much about this character, aside from the fact that he's a strawberry strawberry themed beaver. So I wonder what kind of dam he made. What dam he made as a beaver. Okay, so even though I filled in all the little pseudo strawberry seeds that I did, I am actually going to make some strawberry seeds, because what good is a strawberry? He just looks like he's wearing a shirt now. Well, technically he is wearing a shirt. We'll just give him some strawberry striping. Much faster than trying to fill it up, trying to carefully fill in around all the little strawberry things that I made. But yeah, it's like, looking at that, it's like, okay, so basically they're offering me the chance to spend a fortune to not get famous. Because I guarantee you, the people, unfortunately, the people who fall for that sort of a scam, and yes, I do call it a scam deliberately, are almost always, unfortunately, the ones who, excuse me, they're almost always the ones who don't really understand what it's like to do what you need to do in order to actually get anywhere in terms of popularity. I'm not being critical here, that's just unfortunately the way it goes. Like before, I am actually covering over the cross-hatched pants because that's going to look better if I draw them as nice thin lines in a different color. Go. Yep. Instead, I can do finicky. If I really needed to fill later on, I can do that. But I can do that later is the point. Drawing that cross-hatching was a good idea, but it'll work better if I draw it over, because I won't. I think trying to fill in all been kind of nightmarish. I could have done it, but it would have taken twice as long and probably looked about half as good as just drawing them in on top. Still, it was kind of important to convey the idea I was getting and help keep them in my head. Keep the idea of having cross-hatched pants in my head. I will, however, probably do the cross-hatching much bigger than I actually did here, because that is probably a few too many squares to work with. And I'm not sure if it helps make it look better or not. That'll work. But yeah, I wonder. So he's a fruit-themed beaver, which I think I've mentioned this before, but I think this is pretty cool. A pretty cool idea. But it's like, I wonder what his dam looks like. Like, is it just a standard beaver dam? Is it like made of like strawberry leaves? There's all sorts of ideas, and it's interesting to think about what they could be. There we go. I'll do the feet later because, well, I guess I could do them now. I just need to get back to my, there we go. I'll just use the eyedropper. Just take care of that really fast. Gotta be careful here. I almost drew over the feet. Like the feet lines. Oh, well, that's not that big of a deal. Those I'm actually going to redraw in with black at some point. Alright, there's that. Now we'll do this side. Okay, I'll do this a little more carefully. I kind of was drawing a little sloppily. Okay, a little more. And then I will be drawing the crosshatches again. Okay, I gotta start, because I have a tendency to undo if I end up drawing over the lines. Probably not the smartest plan, but this way I don't have to worry too much about correction. But if I don't lift the brush, the stylus essentially, yeah, that'll work. Okay. So we're gonna actually do this. Let's see, I'm gonna zoom out a little so I can get the whole pants at once. And just try to draw a straight line as possible. Yep, I'm liking that a lot better. That line went off into the wild blue yonder. Nope, that's not gonna work. Alright, so now I draw the other cross-hatching, the horizontal cross-hatching, which should be a little bit easier. Too much. Actually, I've got an idea. It's not perfect, but it's harder to make those not so much straight, but matching when I'm just... So we're gonna cheat a little. Because I can always erase. Because I'm not such a good artist yet that I can match like that. It'll mean some erasing. But thankfully erasing's not difficult in this. Okay, that will work. Now I will carefully erase along the side here. Excuse me. Need a drink. So as I was saying, I will carefully erase along the side here. And okay. And then just carefully erase the middle. I wonder if this is, I've seen like some of the, hold on. I've seen some manga artists, for example, will draw like played, and I'm wondering if this is how they do it. I wouldn't be at all surprised. Alright, we're gonna go with a bigger eraser, otherwise this erasing is gonna take too long. Here. There. Okay, and just a little more, and I can consider Straw Beaver's coloration done. Okay. Okay, not quite the color as I was hoping for, but it certainly will work. So I can always modify it a little. So next we'll go with Joshy, who was a bunny. Interesting that a lot of the basically got a cat who basically advises a bunny who is a magical girl, and a bunny who works at a cafe. It looks like. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and zoom in. Now, Joshy actually also has pink hair, so I just need to find a good shade. Right. Oh, you know what? I forgot I was working on the same layer. Well, I guess I will have to make do on Straw Beaver, but I can at least do it correctly on the other two. I feel kind of bad now. That was not I haven't made that mistake in a long time. On the plus side, it means I don't have to feel as bad about covering. That needs to be a lighter. Okay, there we go. Just go ahead and zoom in a bit more. Because this is his head, I don't have to worry as much. It's not going to be huge. It's not going to be as huge, so I don't have to worry as much about if it... Yep, nice pink hair. Yep, he has definitely got messy hair, but it looks good on him. Sorry, I get a little focused on the art sometimes, and well, it's fun to watch me draw, but I'm sure that people also come here for my efforts at conversation. But yeah, he is a server at a cafe, thus the pastries. Honestly, I'm not surprised that at his girth, because if I worked at a pastry shop, I'd have just a little bit of trouble resisting, and honestly, I might be a little bit more girth than what I've currently got. Even cats have to be careful of their calories. We can temporarily shift to black. There. Just needed to sneak in the outlining of the other eyebrow. Alright. Now we'll go ahead and increase the size and finish coloring in. Yeah, his hair is definitely going to get shading, even though it's not as obvious in um, the main picture. There we go, nice pink hair. I need to do a flesh tone now. Flesh tones are always fun. Let's see if that work. Let's do there. I think that nope, it's oh, that's way too orange. So hard to pick the colors sometimes. We're gonna shrink back down so I can more carefully fill in, especially around Joshy's hair. Right. But yeah, so obviously those are donuts. I'm curious what other kind of pastries they serve though, because croissants are always really tasty. And even though they're not really not sweetened the same way some pastries are, they can be, well, they can be. I mean, one of my favorite pastry treats is what are called filled croissants. So it's basically a croissant bread dough wrapped around a basically a flavored pastry, usually cherry or strawberry or something like that. Although I've seen plenty of different flavors. And, oh, that's making me hungry for pastries. Maybe it wasn't such a good idea to talk about that. Yeah, it reminds me of when Nini and I were talking about that, I can't remember it, but it was the Italian, yeah, that was right. A European treat of some kind. Basically, I don't remember what it was called. Actually, one thing I'll do a final pass before I stop tonight. But I definitely need to make sure to do the whites of the eyes. I forgot about it with the other two. Thankfully, not too terribly difficult to catch, but yep. I mean, I should have done. I'm not terribly surprised because I am just a little tired, but I still feel I should have done a bit better than that. Yeah, unfortunately, gotta pay the bills, gotta buy the cat food. I'd love if I was able to just do this instead of worrying about having to earn money, though. I've just I enjoy streaming. It's really, really great. And I know I know that's a bit of a cliche. I mean, you'd think every streamer would say it's great, but it's from everything I've heard, it's actually a pretty stressful. I want to say hobby, even though it's not a hobby for everyone, but it's a pretty stressful thing to do on a regular basis, especially if you do start doing multiple streams a week, like I do. I would do 3 streams a week. But I actually feel better after I stream a lot of times, like full of energy, just happier. Just in general, more energetic, more feeling a little bit more like a spring kitten as fun, you know. I know it's usually spring chicken, but I'm sorry, I refuse to. There is the big boy Indian. And if I were working here, I would probably, if I were working at that pastry shop, I would probably be a big cut go. Okay, I definitely need to finish that, but I figure we'll go ahead and correct. Basically, fill in the whites of the eyes, and then add in the colors of the eyes. Right, so black, black and blue. Black's gonna be easy. Blue looks like it's actually part of the shade of his shirt, so that won't take too long. So I know they have it a lot, but one thing I would kind of like to work away from is having to use black outlines. Um, go back to white for a bit. There we go. Yep, that looks nice. Okay, we'll go to blue. Actually, we will get away from the purple. Let's see, that needs to be a lighter blue. There. Like here, it would actually make sense to just have the eyes without that. Definitely need to study up on some art techniques and such because of things like this. I mean, some of it you need a black or other solid for, but some of it you could probably just get away with. Okay, so I am gonna draw in a few smidges of color here because those are, as far as I can tell, the shirt sleeves are the same color. Okay. But now we're gonna grab the skin tone and work on the other visible parts of his hand and legs. There we go. Not too worried about preserving the original line art since, at least on this one, and I'll probably go back and do some, since I certainly won't be able to fix it with Luna, just do some tweaks on the line art, but the line art came out pretty good, so I'm not too worried about tweaking it, just modifying here and there, maybe doing a little bit of an erasure here and there just to make it look better. Okay, that should be... Oh, I like this background music. I mean, the Windswept is pretty good. I mean, I wouldn't continue to be listening to it if I didn't like it. But every once in a while I run into one that I just really like. And this is definitely one of them. Oh, hold on. Okay, back down to 5. Fill. Okay. Right. Now I'm gonna get back to working on that. He sure does have a lot of colors, which is not bad at all. It's just, it's good. And it makes him, even though it's not as simple of a design as some I've seen, still pretty memorable. Okay. Definitely gonna zoom in to work on the shirt because it's just to be safe. It's a lot harder. It's not difficult, but it's harder to tell blue and gray apart. There we go. He sure is good at holding that tray, though. I mean, he just got it completely with one hand, just completely nonchalant. Yeah, I like this shade of blue. It looks really nice. Okay, now we'll get the other half. Yep. Okay, so basically just outlining the blue on his shirt. He's got a darker, slightly different shade of blue for the rest of the shirt. I'm a little surprised he's wearing two shirts, to be honest. I mean, I wouldn't think it'd be that cold given that it's a pastry shop. Maybe it's winter where he lives. And technically he is a part bunny, so that could have something to do with it too. Nice and easy filling. Take a break just so I don't accidentally have to redo the whole thing when I color outside the lines, as will unfortunately inevitably happen every now and then. Okay. I might very well just do the same thing when I'm doing the shading later on, is instead of relying on, I mean, I'll be getting rid of the black anyway, but instead of relying on using black for the outlining, go with, okay, how is that gonna look? Nope, not quite there yet. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, I know. I've got bunnies everywhere, it seems. Although the Rabbit Ruby bunny is just, Arena is just cute, and it's the end of the subject. Especially when she gets dressed up in other clothes. I mean, not that the bunny suit's very pretty on her, but there's definitely an appeal for for the dress that she was wearing too. Definitely creates a kind of cuteness that her bunny suit doesn't quite give. On the other hand, she certainly doesn't seem to mind it very much. And it is perfectly valid for her to wear a bunny suit. But yeah, I'm definitely got an idea for something I can try. Maybe not with this stream because of the, well, certainly not with this stream, but maybe not with these pictures. But the next um, the next regular stream I do, where I just do one picture, instead of trying to meticulously figure out the black, just once I, and to basically redrawing the black line art, the black lines for the line art, is instead use a darker shade of whatever the primary color of that part is. Now sometimes that'll still be black, but I have the feeling that would look really nice. I mean, it still had to be a much darker shade so that it creates the same border effect. But I think it would work pretty well. Okay, we're going to go ahead and go with a slightly larger brush to finish in the filling up here. Or at least get it filled in and then worry about kind of painted over part of something I wanted to keep. I might actually do Arena as my next regular as my next regular art subject. Although to be honest, I've been calling them art practice, and they still will be art practice. But honestly, I like the idea that this is less practice and more. I feel confident enough in my drawings that I can just call them regular drawing streams. I should look into considering, like, I still call myself an ENVTuber in training, but I mean, if I've been doing it for 3 months and have been overall doing pretty well, I'd say. I mean, certainly not the kind of massive trajectory you see at a Hololive, but I wouldn't be getting that anyway. Not unless I just had some ridiculous but yeah, that being said, I do like the idea of being able to, I lost track of what I was saying. Yeah, oh yeah, thank you. I should not be considered calling myself. I mean, yeah, you could always call it training, But 3 months, 3 months getting to, doing stuff like this is the time I should consider myself just not so much redo, but just rebrand myself as cat VTuber or something like that. I'll have to think about that over the next couple of days, since I have a few days until my next stream. Okay, trade time. It's pretty light blue, so I've honestly have been one of the things I really want to start doing is I don't think I'm quite ready to do a full-length karaoke stream, but maybe doing some singing practice at the end of a stream, or maybe the beginning of a stream, because it's hard. Honestly, it's a little difficult for me to. I shouldn't say difficult, but I have been kind of a little bit intimidated at how much more difficult it was than I expected to get my singing voice back into shape. And I think if I want to get to where I'm actually doing proper singing, just practice a song like at the end of a stream or something like that. Okay, so now we need to go to, yeah, that'll work for bread. Yeah, that'll work for bread. But basically, practice singing like at the beginning of a stream or possibly at the end of a stream. I haven't decided yet. It wouldn't be more than a song or two. But the idea being that I can put in the same kind of, at least some effort into improving my singing in a format that I'm not basically just listening to myself and wondering if I'm making any changes at all. And it would certainly be better than just sitting here and saying to myself, well, I'll do it when I feel better about it. Because, well, if I'd done that with my art, I'd still be just sort of puttering around every so often. These art streams have really tremendously helped me in terms of actually improving my actual skill. Granted, I'm not that much better than when I started, but I'm definitely just seeing improvement in general. I mean, you can see Joshi is actually, for all of that he looks like a fairly simple character, is actually fairly complicated, and he's got a lot of colors. But I'm kind of on track to be done with the 4 anniversary stream pictures in about 2 hours each, maybe a little more. And that is pretty good considering it took me 3 hours to draw Mustache Girl and Hat Kid. 3 hours each. And so the art streams have been and are extremely beneficial. And so I think starting to do some regular streaming, some regular singing during my streams would be a good way to get myself out of the, well, I still need to get better, thinking. Because, as I think I've shown myself with my art streams, it's not so much a matter of getting better as it is a matter of keep doing it. I mean, you can... It's too easy to set myself an arbitrary goal of get better, and then, without realizing it, move my own goalposts. And, or get frustrated because I'm not doing as well as I'd like. Okay. So... that's got multiple colors. I think for the moment we'll give it pink. I can always change it, but I think for the moment I will give it purple frosting. Here we go. Okay, I actually like this idea. Give it a bit of a sheen later on, but we'll turn it into a pastry that will hopefully look good enough to eat. Yum yum. Okay. Alright, so the rest of it is browns and yellows. There's a little bit... Let's do the blacks first. Because the parts of the boots are actually black. Go ahead and up that a little. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, from what some stuff we've talked about before, fighting some of those battles are just ridiculously tough. I mean, Noah was way tougher than I was expecting, although to be honest with you, part of that was I wasn't ready yet. But go ahead and, by all means, I don't mind talking about those achievements. I am definitely curious what some of them are, because I could definitely see there being achievements for some of the higher achievements for the higher difficulty levels, fighting the bosses on the higher difficulty levels, I mean. Wow. That... Okay, having done that, that's just... kind of ridiculous. I couldn't... It's like, having fought Noah... I mean, I'm assuming it's gotta be possible, but, okay. I shouldn't say that. Because... I think I remember you saying that there's some stuff in the game which is not guaranteed to be doable. Like... Oh, hold on. It's having a little lag. I wanted to make sure that it wasn't affecting my pen. Yeah, I imagine at least some... I wouldn't be surprised if there's don't take hits during most of the bosses, to be honest with you. That seems like it'd be something that they'd stick in. forgot something. Not a big deal. Well, personally, I like the idea of Coco that they actually fleshed her out as a properly playable character. Uh, you know, if I remember reading from what I read correctly, she's still a um, she is still a very not story based, but she just is basically plays the game the same way as Arena, just without the story segments. And yes, I really like the idea that you can actually just play through the whole game as Coco. I was afraid it was going to be a boss rush, which I still would have done because it's fun. It would be fun, but I could definitely like the idea of playing her for real, especially since she's an orange kitty like me. Definitely good payoff. All right. This is coming along pretty nicely. I've still got a little more to do, but it's been almost 2 hours though. Coloring is it's worth it, but it's still taking longer than I expected. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, this should have been a slightly lighter gray. Easy fix. I just realized if they're black, you can't see the border. And adding in just a tiny bit of gray. Hold on, sorry. I don't know why it keeps pausing the video. Sorry, pausing the music. But it's only happened twice. That's not too bad. Wow. That's actually pretty interesting that you have a character that can't do anything. But she drains the boss's health slowly. There we go, that's much better. Okay. Yeah, I probably should have considered using that when I was doing no, I just didn't think about it, but she is definitely a bunny. I'm honestly not sure that I had that, to be honest with you. But yeah, that basically makes the toughest bosses in the game at least easier, we'll say. Okay. This to be a gray. I'm just going to fill this in really fast. Doesn't really need a whole lot here. This is just filling in a little. Yep. and its resist bunny element is, you wouldn't have thought there'd be a bunny element. Kind of makes you wonder if they had a cat element, and you just, because they've got what, four or five cat bosses, Coco and her sisters. Oh, interesting. So they essentially resist arena's damage, it looks like. No wonder I wasn't well, I shouldn't say it. It's no wonder it was as challenging as it was. Right, go to the pink. Okay. It does make sense for why that battle was as difficult as it was, because she was just tanking my blows like nothing. On the other hand, despite it wasn't as draining and mind numbing as the Radiance battle ended up being, which, oh my goodness, Radiance was a really tough fight. Oh, no, I wouldn't, really? Well, I guess I shouldn't be surprised too much. It does surprise me a little, but Radiance is, I mean, she was shutting me down at first. I mean, I wasn't even getting past the first stage multiple tries in a row. I mean, it's honestly one of the hardest bosses I've fought in a game like that in a long time. And unfortunately, there's nothing to do but smile and tank the blows. Plus the double damage debuff. Yeah, the double damage debuff the double damage that Radiance does with almost all of her attacks is just absolutely draining. Plus the fact that does that much more massively loud sound effect, and the massively loud sound effect and the fact that the screen darkens makes you unbalanced and much more likely to get hit again. I think I finally managed to get that under control, but yeah, plus the double damage, it didn't make high blood useless, but it really did eat into how effective it was. Because high blood will only recover one mass no matter how much damage you actually take. Yeah, I noticed that Miru was actually a really tough challenge in terms of the patterns, because I didn't notice that the patterns were not too difficult to deal with. I mean, I did manage to survive that fight and win without any trouble. But it yeah, I honestly, I was pretty exhausted by Radiance too. I mean, and it just, you saw how drained I was after multiple tries. I won't say I was ready to quit, because I wasn't, but it was definitely a situation where it would have been like, okay, I may come back and do this later. I wanted to beat her on stream because it was a massive achievement, and would have been really good thing to do. I mean, just in general. But it was such a challenging fight I won't say I was anywhere near giving up on it, but I may very well have just said, well, okay, I'll just do this later. Because, oh boy, that was a tough fight. Who cat, that was a tough fight. Something like that. Yeah, Radiance is definitely, aside from a certain... that's definitely not a bad idea, although depending on how I'm feeling when I try it, I may want to try it on my own. But yeah, especially if I start having trouble, as I won't be too surprised if I do, because of Miss President of the UP, whatever, is likely to be a big pain. Not bad, just a big pain. And there will probably be a few. I had some trouble with some of Noah's patterns too, trying to figure out how to dodge them. I didn't have much trouble with a lot of the other bosses, although I still feel dumb that had never just completely didn't realize what bunny amulets were. It's like that would have made so many of those bosses so much easier, especially since they recharge. Definitely not going to forget now. Interesting. So that's not something you usually expect from a game boss, especially the I want to say true final boss, except it's a little hard to justify that considering the way considering things. Alright, I'm about done with Joshy. But yeah, from what you're saying, it almost sounds like she's not actually terribly interested in fighting Irina, and is just doing it because of something else. Maybe she has to for some reason and just doesn't want to. Not quite at the level of the Hollow Knight, but yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking of. Yes. Like, she just wants you to go away and leave her alone, so she's really intimidating and pushy, but not really trying to hurt you. Or Irina, I guess. And unlike the Hollow Knight, it sounds like she's only conflicted in the sense that she doesn't want to seriously hurt you, but she will if she has to. Alright, and last but not least, go with a darker brown for the pockets. What does Joshy have in his pockets? Well, he probably doesn't have a ring that makes you invisible. Wow, that's actually pretty bad. But yeah, I've noticed some of the usually normal enemies, but you do get hit by debuffs a lot. Like uh, Erisu, no, Noah was. I'm bad with names, so don't mind if I get it wrong. Um, Noah was hit me with a don't even do damage debuff if I was not careful on some of her attacks. Which thankfully didn't last long, but it definitely made for a tricky fight. Okay. Alright, that looks pretty good. I will want to do some minor corrections later, but... Alright, time for the last one. Yukitora is gonna probably be the most challenging of the ones I've done because she is a VTuber and has a much better, basically, much higher quality. So I'll have to play it a lot more carefully. And at least to start with. Let's see. Oh, hi, Yaoi. Thanks for coming. How are you doing today? Yeah, I'm definitely going to need to do more with the skin tone here, but I think that's a pretty good base color. Ah. I say that, and I forgot to actually do the extra layer again. Alright. But yeah, skin tone, honestly, I've mentioned this before in the stream, but it's a little hard for me to figure out colors sometimes. I don't have... Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that, Yaoi. Do you feel comfortable talking about it? I mean, or if you want to talk about it on Discord, that's fine too. After I'm done with my stream, but either way, I'm more than happy to listen. Okay. That's fine. Well, I'm sorry what's been happening. I would... It's hard to really say what the, I've... Well, that makes sense. It's definitely an understandable thing. But one thing I've watched other streamers before myself, so it's sometimes very difficult to figure out what you need to do in order to I don't want to say fit in because that's absolutely the wrong word, but sometimes they expect certain behavior from viewers and will make comments essentially if somebody is not conforming to what they expect. Because in some of the indie streamers I've seen, it's unfortunately really easy for people to start trampling over them. Wow, two of the big follows people in one stream. I feel almost honored. Not really. It's like that's why I had to block links, unfortunately, because I don't really want to have them have the spammers clogging up my chat with links that I have to figure out how to get rid of. Yeah, the problem is it's a different streamer every time. I mean, sorry, different Twitch handle every time. Banning them would be good, except I don't have any mods, so I have to do it myself, and truthfully, it's never the same one. But believe me, I would definitely love to ban them, but the problem is they will come back. Oh, yeah, I've got to figure out how to do it, but I can give stream titles now. Like, stream roles. And I should definitely, I'm glad you mentioned it. I just have to figure out how to do it. Because unfortunately, oh, Twitch that well yet. Wow. Yeah, those frenzied kittens are really something, aren't they? The ones, I guess you said, I think you mentioned it's Halloween? Something like that? But yeah, yep, kittens! Let's see. Kittens are cute. Yeah, that's definitely a challenge, because if you remember correctly, bunny extinction is actually the hardest level if you are, that it's guaranteed to be beatable. Oh, hold on. Okay. Sorry, let me see. Okay, there you go, Ninian. I figured out how to make you a mod. Smite the spammers. Yeah, I don't know either of those characters, to be honest with you, Yowie. The names aren't familiar to me. But I'm definitely interested in finding out who they are. Oh, Neko anime. What? Which anime? Because that definitely made me sit up and pay attention. Yeah, bring down the banhammer. the bunny hammer. So they actually had a character from Macross that did a bunny dance. Ah, but yeah, I'm Drew. Nyan 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 nyan. It's possible I did, but I haven't seen Macross uh or the anglicized version Robotech in ages. So if I did see it, I don't quite remember. My apologies. Sure thing. That'll be funny. Neko neko neck. Nyan 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 nyan. I need to come up with silly songs like that just to sing at random moments on stream. Because I imagine that would be fun. Alright, so that takes care of her. I'm gonna do the ribbon next. So, Ninian, if you since I can actually shut off the links. I just couldn't figure out how to ban on my own, and didn't want to have to deal with the spam. So I can add links again so that people can share stuff like that. So I'm drawing a cat, and I have a cat trying to get back on my lap. Sam decided he wanted seconds. Oh, you can post links. Okay. Yeah. Probably because you're a mod now. I should figure out. I'll have to figure out rules later, but I can give people rules so they can do that stuff then. That's going to be a darker red. Go down to a much darker red. I love that eyedropper tool. It makes a lot of sense. Oh, it makes life much, much easier. Right. So we're gonna go with white for her eyes. For her very beautiful eyes. But yeah, I'm feeling honestly much better uh, now than I did at the end of that I did at the end of my work. I was tired. Honestly, I wasn't showing it, but just a little tiny bit cranky. And now I'm feeling much better. So, yeah, this is why I like streaming, because it really does help me energize a lot better than it really does help me energize. Right. Don't want the blue, I want a lighter blue than that. Is that the right color? And I can always fix it later. I don't want to spend too long picking colors and such. I'll definitely draw in a little bit of black there too. I think Ninian said earlier that that video was from Macross something or other. I have to look. Macross Frontier, I think. Yeah, I'll definitely. So I will also look into that. Oh, I don't know. Since I'm doing my stream, I can't really watch the video. Okay. Slightly lighter. Oh, I already do that, but I'm going to draw over it. Just slightly draw over it. Give it some um, color to work with, because I'll have to hide that bottom layer. Sam decided he didn't want on my lap after all of this. Now, oh. Okay, I guess I missed that. This is actually a VTuber named Yuki Tora. I think she hasn't debuted yet, so she isn't streaming. But she was one of the ones who she was one of the ones who decided to speak up when I announced that I was drawing basically characters for people who were for my 3-month stream. Okay, yeah, that was pretty silly of me. Yeah, I befriended her on Twitter actually. I really like her design, and she's got a great singing voice. You can you can't really see it too well yet, but she's got a nice, relatively simple color pattern. I mean, it's. I have a little bit of a liking for relatively simple. I've seen some, we'll just say, more complicated VTuber designs, and. Huh? No, she's great. No, right, no. Oh, yeah, I am silly. Sometimes. Yeah. No, Ninian has me pegged. I am silly at times. So yes, Ninian loves to tease me, and Ninian has a good sense of humor, so it's also pretty funny. I mean, her humor is very funny. And she is very good at making connections. Yep, I love the petting. Head pats are great. And yeah, uh, little known tidbit, cats really like having their cheeks rubbed, because that's actually where they groom themselves the most, and so they really enjoy it. And it also means that they can see the hand. So the hand or whatever's. Thank you, Yowie. Yes, purr, purr, purr. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right about that, Ninian. And it's also, they can see it. They can see if somebody's. I would actually try to purr, but I've been told my purring sounds weird, so, as a human. So I will stick to purr, purr, purr. But yeah, they do absolutely have scent glands on their cheeks. Uh, well, if you say so. How'd that sound? There we go. Thank you. I'll have to do that more. I think I was just trying to purr with the wrong part of my throat. One thing I'd like to add once I get the option of unlocking rewards is a purring, is basically viewers demanding that I purr. So I'm glad to know that my purring is enjoyable to hear. Yeah, I totally believe that, Indian. Bunnies are, well, most animals, especially because most animals really hate being grabbed on the anywhere. They really hate being grabbed, period. They tend to panic or freeze, but that's still a panic. And if they're not comfortable with it, they'll start fighting. You know, the best way to get scratched by a cat is to try to grab it from behind as when you've surprised them. That is really cute. I really like that. It's not something I ever knew, but it makes a tremendous amount of sense. Lion cubs, I'm not really sure. I haven't really met too many lion cubs. They are very cute though. But I wouldn't be surprised since it's small cat, big cat, they're still going to be pretty much so similar. That is actually really interesting, Nini. I didn't realize that lions actually liked getting hugs. Because I know a lot of cats don't. I mean, they'll learn to tolerate it if you're nice to them about it, but in general, they feel constrained and they can't get away, so they look for chances to escape, even if they really like that person. Well, I'm assuming if they like the human, that the human likes them, so they don't get upset. Yeah, some cats are kind of jerks, but I'm glad to know that lions aren't. Okay, back to a whitish color. Well, they are real. You can see the ears, right? But yeah, um, it would be nice if they were more common, we'll say. And that people could actually interact them or with them because Nekomimi, as Japanese call them, are extremely cute. I should know, I'm one of them. But to be truthfully, I really do adore the look. And I wish there were. I always go a bit gaga over various cat VTubers that I see on Twitter because they are oftentimes have extremely good. They look extremely good. They don't make them. They don't tend to go overboard on decoration, and they really just tend to get the whole cat aesthetic very well. Some people don't. I mean, there are a few who are kind of not as good, we'll say. But in general, most cat VTubers and other feline VTubers really are follow very elegant designs because, you know, that's kind of a cat thing. We're all very elegant. I'll get the other part of the shirt next. But yeah, Yuki Tora is one of the better cat VTubers. When she actually starts streaming, I'm probably going to start hosting her channel. Because, I mean, she's already impressed me. And that's, given that she's not even started streaming yet, that's, you know, definitely somebody to keep an eye on, in my opinion. Maybe lighten that later, but for now, this is mostly just to make sure it's not looking gray. But yeah, I'm trying to do a really good job with her because she is. I want to give her all the support. Oh. Wow, that's like ancient history, isn't it? Like, that's like not long after YouTube began. If you really want to see YouTube ain't. Okay, good point, Indian. If you really want to see YouTube ancient history, you should look up something called All Your Base. But don't watch it until you're sitting down. Okay. Keep jumping around in colors. Let's see. It is a very silly meme somebody did off of a really ancient game with a horrible translation. And it ended up being, they just did a song based on it, and it's ridiculous. Yeah, it's incredibly old memes. The old, I guess, old guard, but whichever. It's like one of the oldest memes in existence, and the fact that I still remember it after I don't know how many years is kind of an indication of how powerful it is. There. See? I don't think it's quite that old. Are you calling me a boomer? I'm joking, I'm joking. It is an old meme, I'll give you that much, but the whole talk about 2006 YouTube made me think of it. But yeah, despite the fact that it is ancient history, um, that is something that stuck in my head. So, despite what I said, you may not want to actually watch it. It's internet history, but the emphasis there is history. Oh, I didn't get her hand. That's an easy fix. Yeah, memes can be pretty bad sometimes, but I'm glad that when they do memes that are not bad, that are not actually downright mean, non-mean memes. That can be darker. I might need to change the background color. Just a minute. Actually, I'm not sure how to do that. That's something I can worry about later. But it's hard to tell because the color I'm using for her... Yeah, I definitely can't argue with you there. Memes have to be interesting. Otherwise, what's the point, right? So next time I'm going with a slightly darker one. I can barely see the gray that I'm painting. Honestly, no, I don't remember any of those. I do know Rickroll. I guess maybe I've heard of Duckroll then. I just I didn't remember what the association was. Yeah, I will definitely have to darken the border because I can't tell for sure if I'm painting this correctly or not. Not a big deal though. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I know about the Rickroll thing. It's like the never gonna let set you up, never gonna let you down, or something like that. And it's like, yeah. It's funny the first few times, but it can get pretty tedious if you. I mean, Rickrolling is a. Oh, really? I honestly, I guess maybe I haven't seen enough of it then, because I kind of tend to just. I've seen it enough to know what it is, and that's pretty much it. So, you probably have a point. I didn't consider it that way. Yeah, I'm used to bad jokes being the kind of thing that you just try to run away from. Because unfortunately, but I guess it's not quite the same as a joke. It's like you don't know you're going to get hit by it, and then suddenly it's like it's there, and like, no! But you're just sitting, as you said, smiling. Uh, I guess you got a point there. Yeah, that's another thing I liked about Yuki. Her striping pattern is very on her tail. It's very similar to mine. You can't see my tail right now, of course. When I get a proper full body avatar, I'll definitely show it. But it's got or it alternates. Oh, trust me, Ninian. I knew what that was. But yeah, first rule of the game, and that's all I'll say, because we don't want to confuse the Gen Z people. Yeah, honestly, I don't want to date myself, but I grew up with Legos. And Minecraft sounds like Legos on steroids. Well, figuratively speaking. I still like the game, it was a bit hard for me to figure it out for a while. Not difficult, but it's like, okay, what do I do besides dig? Same thing with games like Terraria and such. I will say this much: at least the Gen Z people are have the are nice enough to let us older people into actually playing, actually letting us play things like Minecraft. Yeah, I think that'll work. Should just about finish off the initial. Yeah, Coco cannot catch a break financially, can she? It's like she's a goddess of poverty. Except everybody wants her around. Or at least doesn't mind her being around. But yeah, sadly, most cats don't have the restraint needed to save money. I'm not exactly much of an exception there. And, to be honest, Coco's actually caring for several, I'm not sure if they're like younger sisters or what, so she doesn't really have a lot of money to begin with. So, yeah, this should be, if I'm not mistaken, the last color, more or less. There's a couple parts that I need to do still. But the last color I need to do, coloring I need to do. You can buy Coco's bombs? I didn't know you could buy her bombs. They didn't show up when I was there. There we go. Interesting. So that's, oh, I see. That's probably why I couldn't find them at first. They are after you beat the game. So you gotta wait till Coco's not minding the store, it looks like. Okay, that's interesting. I just had a really dumb thing pop into my head from uh, the actual Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters movie, not the remake that aired a few years ago. Just Venkman talking about the. Yeah, that's very possible. Because I wasn't really paying close attention to those. I thought they were all buffs. Okay, good point. I'll definitely have to do that at some point. Hopefully, I will be able to. That's, honestly, I guess it's an achievement, but it seems like kind of a mean thing to do. Let's increase the size on this. I'll definitely be doing shading later on. And, yeah, I'll definitely be doing shading later on this, but for the moment, I want to get it filled. Because this stream is approaching 3 hours, which is only about 45 minutes per for coloring. That's still, further behind than I wanted to be, but no point in worrying about it. Yep. On the other hand, you get to play as her as a real character, not just simply a boss rush. But I was actually thinking back to what you said about how you can play as the UPRPRC. Yeah, I can actually remember the acronym now. Character. And how you can't attack, so, but you can't, but, they do, it does damage to the, she does damage to the bosses based on the actual, based on how long, based on, surviving. So I just was thinking that's actually a pretty good way to, uh, train yourself to learn the boss's patterns. Yes, let's just say I would have probably tried to figure it out anyway, but now that I know, I'm like, it's not a matter of if I'll beat Irisu, it's a matter of when. Oh, my music ended. Actually, I'm pretty close to done streaming, so I'll just leave the music off at this point. Actually, it keeps pausing. I'll just leave it off. It's not that big of a deal. But yeah, the Rabbit Yuri stuff's actually really interesting too. One thing I will need to do before I consider this done, before I can post the images, I mean, is a few last minute touch ups, but mostly just a couple little things I forgot. Nothing big. But yeah, it's different without the music. I definitely think the art stream is much improved with music. But for just finishing up like this, I don't mind filling the space with a little more talking. After all, I can always use talking practice. But yeah, that is definitely not going to be the final color of her shirt, but I always go in with a specific color for the specific base color and then use shading to, blending to lighten or darken it. Yeah, it's no problem. Well, I'm glad that I was able to help you chill out, Ninian. I'm honestly, that's probably one of the biggest reasons I stream. So people can come here and, as art streams specifically, people can come here and just enjoy. Because I like it when people are, I like people, people are, it's more fun to be around people when they're calmer. And it's more fun for the people who are here to be calmer. So I'm glad I can give off the vibes to let people help just chill and enjoy. I may not ever be the kind of super talented, haha, make you laugh funny entertainer that other streamers can do. Skytown, maybe I did. It sort of sounds familiar, but I'm not sure. I've sure heard of it. I just don't remember if I actually saw it. So peg that down as a maybe, possibly not. And that is about finished. Oh, okay. I don't think I did because I never found a second town. I do remember seeing it in the game. I just don't think I ever got there. All right. Zoom back out and make sure I didn't miss any obvious details. All right. Still pretty basic on color, but that's pretty good. Okay. I am Ninny Ninny Town. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't think I'm pretty sure I didn't get there. That would definitely have been a much more. It would definitely have been a very memorable thing. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and switch to chatting for a minute. Give my hand to rest since I've been drawing for 3 hours. That is definitely something that the art streams have really helped me with because drawing for 3 hours would probably thank you. Drawing for 3 hours is definitely a challenge. It's a good challenge. I'm glad I did it, but yeah, my dad definitely needs a little bit of a break. So I'm glad I was able to finish the coloration. At this point, I'm going to wrap the stream up. As the excuse me, sorry, a little tired there. As I mentioned during the stream, I will be just having my normal midweek break for sorry from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday as usual. Thank you. No problem, Ninny, and thank you. So those will be days off. Friday, I will be back to my normal schedule of I will be playing Rabbit Ruby again, and I will definitely see about going to Skytown. So let's see. Then so yeah, Friday is Rabbit Ruby. Depending on how I'm feeling, once I have a little more free time, I might decide to do a gorilla stream on the art, but I may just wait until Monday because I'm pretty satisfied with the colors, aside from a couple of things here and there that I forgot, and they're easy enough to add in. I just need to blend it now, make it look even better. So, aside from that, I have just the normal, my normal schedule. So, Rabbit Ruby on Friday at 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time, Subnautica on Sunday at 2 p.m. Central Daylight Time, and then obviously the art stream next week, again at 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. Alright, with that, I am going to go ahead and bid everyone an Oinyasumi Nyasai, and see you in a few days.